This week we're going to be covering the Warren's suspicious and possibly fake investigations.
Yeah!
Lorraine Warren was born on January 31st, 1927 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. As a child, Lorraine was raised as a strict Catholic and went to a private Catholic girls' school. It was there that she began to notice her strange and supernatural powers. When she was 12, her class planted a sapling outside of the school. After planting it, Lorraine had a vision of it as a fully grown tree. A nun asked her if she was seeing the future, and Lorraine responded, yes. What?
This tree,
Yeah.
it's gonna grow.
Dude, supernatural powers, dog.
I had a vision that if I plant this and water it, probably gonna turn into a tree.
She would eventually realize that she was a trance medium. A trance medium is somebody who enters a trance-like state to communicate with spirits. Edward Warren was born on September 7th, 1926 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Ed was also raised as a strict Catholic and grew up in a haunted house. He claims that when he was 5 years old, he saw his first apparition. Strangely, this apparition was the family's landlady who died the year prior. After this encounter, Ed would begin having dreams of dead relatives, including an aunt who told him that he would never become a priest, which became true.
I'm confused. His aunt said he'd never become a priest.
Yeah.
So did he even want to be a priest?
That's what I'm saying, dog. That's like I don't know.
You will never become the president of the United States.
Yeah,
of
that's
America.
like me saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna eat waffles tomorrow" or something, and then I don't because I don't want waffles tomorrow.
Yeah, because I don't like waffles.
Yeah, the fuck. When Ed and Lorraine were both 16, they met in a movie theater where Ed was working as an usher. Soon after this, they started dating. In 1945, when Ed was 17, he enlisted in the Navy. 4 months later, his ship would sink in the North Atlantic Ocean, and he was sent home on 30-day survivor leave. It was during this time that he proposed to Lorraine and the two got married. He would be shipped back to the Navy and then came home when World War II ended. After the war, Ed became an artist. He would visit reported haunted houses and paint them while standing outside. He would then knock on the door and offer the painting to the owner. If they accepted the painting, the Warrens would do a full paranormal investigation of the house. It should be noted that at this time, Lorraine was a skeptic of ghosts. In 1952, the Warrens would form NESPR, the New England Society for Paranormal Research. From there, the Warrens grew in popularity, becoming well-known paranormal investigators. They would go on to cover famous cases, including Annabelle the doll, the Amityville House, the demon murder trial, and much more. Have anything to say?
I'm a big fan of them. That whole coming up story of Lorraine with the tree, that's pretty fucking stupid.
What do you mean? It's a sick story. No, we're not talking about it in this one, but they reportedly, like, Ed was also, like, a pedophile and had sex with, like, a 15-year-old girl that was living with them.
Why was she living with them?
We don't know. Before we start looking into some of the possible fake investigations, keep in mind that this is all speculations and we cannot be 100% sure if they ever faked any evidence. With that, let's get into it. In November of 1974, in the small town of Amityville, New York, the police discovered 6 bodies of the Defoe family. They had been shot in the back of the head at some point in the night. The police would eventually arrest Ronald Defoe for the killings. In court, Ronald claimed that voices he heard had told him to do it and they had control of his body. The court didn't believe him and he was sentenced to 6 life sentences. Only 13 months later, the Lutz family would move into the Defoe home. They immediately began experiencing strange occurrences. Strange odors could be smelled around the house. Strange gelatin would appear. Hundreds of flies appeared in the sewing room even though it was winter. And George Lutz awoke one night to see that his wife was a 90-year-old hag that was levitating above the bed. After 28 days, the Lutz family had enough and moved out of the house. 20 days later, the Warrens arrived at the house. They conducted their investigation and concluded that the house was possessed by a demon. The Lutz family would go on to publish a book about the house that was eventually turned into several movies. The problem is that many different people would live in the house after the Lutz family and reported no strange occurrences in the house. Adding on to this, there was no actual documented paranormal evidence taken from the Lutz family and very little was taken by the Warrens. His wife turned into a 90-year-old hag and levitated above the bed. And strange gelatin would appear around the house, and there were hundreds of flies in the sewing room.
90-year-old hag levitating above the bed. Sleep paralysis, probably.
I don't
Or
know.
maybe he was just sober.
Or
Maybe he was like an alcoholic. And he thought
he
his
made
life...
it up.
No.
Yeah.
No. Why would he do that?
The next case is Annabelle the doll. In 1970, a mom bought a Raggedy Ann doll for her daughter Donna, who was about to graduate nursing school. It's a rival, and
All right.
strange gift for a older girl, just buying her a doll.
25-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Here's a doll, sweetie.
After its arrival, Donna and her roommate began noticing that the doll would move around the apartment when they weren't home. But this wasn't the only strange thing, because one day Donna noticed that the doll had blood on its hands and chest, which seemingly came from nowhere. After more creepy occurrences, Donna would throw the doll away and it would come back like nothing happened. The Warrens were called and they concluded that the doll was not possessed by a little girl, but was being moved by a demonic spirit. The Warrens would take Annabelle from Donna and put it in their museum. The problem is that this story is very similar to an episode of The Twilight Zone. In episode 126, The Living Doll, which aired 7 years before the Annabelle story, a little girl is gifted with a doll by her mom whose name is Annabelle. The girl's father doesn't like the doll and even goes as far as throwing it against the wall. The doll starts threatening the father, and eventually the doll kills the father by tripping him, causing him to fall down the stairs. But even without the similarities between the real doll and the Twilight Zone doll, there is no actual evidence collected against the real doll.
That's all you have about the Annabelle doll?
What do you mean?
Or that's all that was like made about it? Because it's just such a big story.
Well, there's a lot more, but like that's like a whole separate video.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
because I
just
know
saying-
people who would like go to see the dolls and like touch the case. They'd like crash get in like a car accident, or
That's
they
a few.
die
That's a
soon
few
after.
people. That's a few people. And there was only like one reported death after
Oh, really?
seeing the doll. Yeah.
These guys suck.
Our final case is the haunting in Connecticut. In 1986, the Snedeker family moved into a rental home in Southington, Connecticut. Soon after moving in, they would check the basement and were horrified to find mortician tools, blood drains, toe tags, and gurneys. Soon after this, the family began experiencing paranormal events. They began seeing apparitions and were even assaulted by them at some point. The son would experience violent personality changes, and the house began smelling like decaying flesh. Not knowing what to do, the family called the Warrens, who claimed that the house was possessed by demons and spirits. The problem with this story begins when the Warrens contacted author Ray Gurton to write a book about the house. He would interview the Snedeker family, and none of them could get their story straight. Frustrated, Garton went to Ed Warren, who reportedly told Garton, quote, "They're crazy. Use what you can and make the rest up," end quote. It should also be noted that the son, who reportedly went through violent personality changes, was also suffering from schizophrenia. Not looking good.
Well, all right, yeah. Ed and Lorraine Warren are fake.
I'm sure.
Not true.
I'm sure that some of the places they went were haunted, but I'm sure a lot of it was also made up. But we cannot be 100% sure.
I am actually 100% sure.
Even though it's not looking good.
Did our boys investigate Ed and Lorraine Warren?
The case breakers?
Case breakers?
Man, they said that the FBI knows that the Warrens faked it, but the FBI just won't say it.
They're just not letting us know.
They're just not letting us know. And they're actually holding a press conference, I think next week, in front of FBI headquarters. And reportedly, one person has RSVP'd for it. So
I fucking am RSVPing. That was me.
Yeah, that was you.
I want to go to if the case breakers ever have another conference somewhere. And I'm out of the army.
We need to fucking go.
We need to fucking go.
Ed Warren passed away in 2006 at the age of 79, and Lorraine Warren passed away in 2019 at the age of 92. Their legacy as paranormal investigators won't be forgotten, as they have been part of some of the most famous hauntings ever, and they even have their own museum where they keep many haunted items they have collected. We cannot be sure whether or not they have ever faked any investigations, and if so, how many they faked. Have anything else to say?
No. I'm surprised there's so many videos that are made about these fucking idiots.
Yeah, well,
there's really not much to cover.
There's a lot. Well, I don't know. There's a lot to cover. but there's a lot of fake stuff to cover.
Yeah, if you want to cover bullshit.
Yeah.
Here at the Caleb Jeff YouTube channel, we differentiate fact from fiction. We will not give you bullshit. Like and subscribe for more.
We need you to make us famous.
Like and subscribe. Give me money to buy out my contract.
Look, you probably need your own money, and that's cool, but we need your money more than you. So
you need your money, but I want it.